Welcome back, and we are beginning Unit 6 now. And Unit 6 is all about equations and inequalities. And our first module, Module 6.1, this is use substitution to solve one-step equations. And you can look at our learning target. I can use substitution to determine whether a given number is a solution of a one-step equation. We will be learning plenty of vocabulary. We have equal sign, equation, guess check and revise strategy, solution, and solve. So, once again, Unit 6 is all about equations and inequalities. And here is our first module. And what is an equation? An equation is a mathematical sentence showing that two expressions are equal. And therefore, as you can see over here, I have written x plus 3 and 5/10 is equal to 7 and 9/10. So that equal to sign is what makes it an equation. And we have discussed the difference between an expression and an equation. An expression is like a phrase, and an equation is a complete sentence, where an expression does not have an equal to sign, but an equation does. All right, so therefore it is showing that two expressions, because this is an expression, is equal to the solution over there. So two expressions, this expression and that expression, are both equivalent, and that's what an equation means. All right, and the equation always contains an equal to sign, which is this. Okay, it always contains an equal to sign. And once again, it's a mathematical sentence showing two expressions are equal. For example, if I say 3x is equal to 6, it's showing me that those two expressions are equal. All right, so let's begin with this first problem that I have put on the board for us. All right, and so I've got this question up here, but when you solve an equation, you find the value for the given variable that makes the equation true. And this value is called the solution of the equation. All right. And so it is making the equation true. And remember, since it's an equation, it's a balance. Both sides have to be absolutely the same. All right, you can't say that 5 is equal to 6 because that doesn't happen. It's got to be 6 is equal to 6, and that's what makes the equation a balance. Okay. Now, you may be given a specified set of values to use to find the solution of an equation, and you can determine whether a value is a solution of an equation by using substitution. For example, if I have been given the equation x plus 3 and 5/10 is equal to 7 and 9/10, we're going to see is 3 and 4/10 or 4 and 2/10 or 4 and 4/10 a solution. So best thing to do is to make a table, and then we are going to find the solution by using substitution. Okay, so I've created a table like this, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is, because these three values are given to me, I am going to do this, and I'm going to put the value of x is given as either 3 and 4/10, or it is 4 and 2/10, or it is 4 and 4/10. So we're trying to see by substitution as to which one is the correct solution. All right, so all I'm going to do now, because this is the equation that's given, I'm going to substitute the value for x. So I'm just going to write that with a green. So we've got 3 and 4/10 for x here. We've got 4 and 2/10 for x here. We've got 4 and 4/10 for x here. Okay, and then I'm going to add that to 3 and 5/10, because this is x has been substituted. 3 and 5/10 is equal to 7 and 9/10. So that's what we are trying to see as to whether when I am adding, am I going to get the value which makes the equation true. Okay, so let's see. If I say 3 and 4/10 plus 3 and 5/10, I get 6 and 9/10. Is 6 and 9/10 equal to 7 and 9/10? No, it isn't. These are two different numbers. Okay, so that is not true. Is the value a solution? No, this is not a solution. So 3 and 4/10 is not a solution. All right. The next one we are doing is 4 and 2/10 and 3 and 5/10. I know 5 plus 2 is 7. And I have 4 plus 3, that gives me 7. So I get 7 and 7/10. Is 7 and 7/10 equal to 7 and 9/10? No, it is not equal. So this is not a solution either. Then the last one, I'm doing 5 plus 4 is 9. 4 plus 3 is 7. And I have 7 and 9/10 is equal to 7 and 9/10. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a solution. This one is the correct one. So 4 and 4/10 when substituted for x, that is the correct solution, because when I add that to 3 and 5/10, I get 7 and 9/10, and 7 and 9/10 is equal to 7 and 9/10. So this makes the expression correct. And let's also use the guess, check, and revise strategy to find the solution of an equation. And so in the guess, check, and revise strategy to find the solution, we can begin by choosing a reasonable value for x. All right. So let's do the next one, which is the guess, check, and revise strategy. Guess, check, and revise strategy. All right. So I'm just going to use the same board, but I'm just going to remove this. Okay. And what we're going to do now, we are going to take a reasonable value. So let me just erase this whole thing. All right, here we go. All right. So now let's look at this. And if I take a value of x, and let's say 4 and 5/10 x, let's take a new thing over here. And if I say 4 and 5/10 x is equal to 135, is equal to 135. So this is my new equation that I have put up over here. And we're going to try to use the guess, check, and revise strategy. And so what I'm going to do is, let's try the value of x to be 20. So let's see what happens if I put 20 in there. So instead of x, what am I going to do? I'm going to do 4 and 5/10 times 20. Is that going to give me 135? So when I do 4 and 5/10 times 20, I'm going to get 90. Is 90 equal to 135? No, it is not. Okay, so is the value a solution? Is this a solution? No. Why? Because 90 is less than 135. It is not the same. And therefore the value of x is too small. We're going to try and revise the number which is guessed. So let's try the next one. Let's try 25. Okay, if I'm trying 25, now I'm going to do 4 and 5/10 times 25. Is that equal to 135? So when I multiply 4 and 5/10 times 25, I get 112 and 5/10. Is that equal to 135? No, it isn't. All right. So because once again, what's happening over here? 112 and 5/10 is less than 135. It is not the same. So the value of x is too small. Again, we are going to try revising the number guessed. So let's try 30. So when I try 30, and I'm going to do 4 and 5/10 times 30 should equal 135. So when I try this, I definitely, if I do 4 and 5/10 times 30, I get 135 is equal to 135. And so therefore, yes, this is definitely a solution because 135 is equal to 135. And so 30 is the correct solution for x. And this is just the guess, check, and revise strategy of solving. All right. Let's go ahead and solve equations using substitution. And let's say it's saying that is 3, 4, or 5 the solution of the equation. And we're going to change this again. I'm just going to use the same table format. It makes it easy since it's already drawn out. And let's look at this. And we have a new equation, and we have p plus 9 and 7/10 should equal 13 and 7/10. 13 and 7/10. And so now we are given some values of p. All right. So it's saying if p is p3, is it 4 or is it 5? Okay, so I'm going to do, instead of p, what is that? It's 3. So we are going to do the first value, and this is, here we go. Okay, so value of p. And so I'm just going to substitute the value. I get 3 plus 9 and 7/10. Does this equal to 13 and 7/10 over here? So what is 9 plus 3? I get 12 and 7/10. Is definitely not equal to 13 and 7/10. So this is not a solution, okay? Now, if I take, instead of p, I take 4 plus 9 and 7/10 should equal 13 and 7/10. So then we look at this, yes, 9 plus 4 is 13 and 7/10 is equal to 13 and 7/10. So this is definitely a solution. So if this is a solution, this is not going to be a solution. All right, because it's an equation, it's not an inequality. It'll just have one solution. And so if I did 5 plus 9 and 7/10 should equal to 13 and 7/10, we don't get that. We get 14 and 7/10 is definitely not equal to 13 and 7/10 because it is a greater number. So therefore this is not a solution. So we can find that the solution of this equation is going to be 4. Okay. What about the solution of an equation when we have m plus 4/5, okay? M plus 4/5 should equal 2 and 4/5. 2 and 4/5, okay? And then we're trying to find the value of m, and it has given us certain values that should this be 1, 2, or 3, okay? Should this be 1, 2, or 3? So if I look at this one, okay, if I'm given the values of m as 1, 2, and 3, if I do 1 plus 4/5, what do I get? I get 1 and 4/5, right? So 1 and 4/5 is definitely not equal to 2 and 4/5, okay? So because that's what I'm trying to get at. So this is not a solution. If I do 2 plus 4/5, what do I get? I get 2 and 4/5. Is that equal to 2 and 4/5? Yes. Okay, so this is a solution. And then of course 3 and 4/5 will be 3 and 4/5, as I said. 3 and 4/5 is greater then 2 and 4/5. It is not the same. So that is not a solution. So this is a very simple way to check by substituting the values into the equation that are provided. All right. Let's do one last problem. And I am going to take you to my whiteboard so we can look at the question. All right. So it's saying Navea is building a door that is 36 inches wide using wooden planks that are 4.5 inches wide. Use the guess, check, and revise strategy to solve the equation 4.5p is equal to 36 to find p, the number of planks Navea will need to make her door. So if we are using the guess check strategy, I'm just going to go back because I always prefer a table. It is organized. So I'm just going to go back over here and I am just going to change the value over here, the equation. Okay. And so to see if it is a strategy that we can just, guess, check, revise over here. And so they had told us that what was the equation? It said 4.5 p is equal to 36, and we are trying to find the value of p. So we can use the guess check strategy. So what I can do is I can start substituting first. Let me substitute 6 into the equation. So if I take 6 over here, I'm using this strategy now, all right? And I do 4.5 times 6, will that equal 36? Okay, and so we know that we are not going to get 36 in this because what is 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9 over 2 times 6, right? And then I simplify, I get 1 and I get 3. And what is 9 times 3? So this is 27 is not equal to 36. 27 is less than 36. So it's a smaller number, and that is why this is not a solution, all right? So since 6 did not work, I am going to try with 7. I'm going to substitute 7 into the equation. So again, I know that 4.5 times 7 should equal 36. But when I do the multiplication, I'm going to get 31.5 because look again, 9 over 2 times 7. What is the answer going to be? I'm going to get 31.5. Okay, so this is going to be 31.5, which is what? 31.5 is not equal to 36. So again, this number is less than 36. And so this is not a solution again. Okay, and then let's try substituting 8. And if I substitute 8, once again, the 4.5 is how much? It is 9 over 2, right? Times 8, I get 1 here, I'm simplifying. And what is 4 times 9? I get 36 is equal to 36. So yes, because 36 is equal to 36, 8 is a solution to this. And so Navea needs to use 8 planks in order to build the door. All right. So that's basically what this entire lesson is. Either we are substituting based on values that are provided to us to see if it is a solution to the equation, or we are using the guess, check, and revise strategy by putting in a value for x and seeing is it too less, is it more, until we get to the correct solution where in an equation both sides have got to be balanced. So that is basically what module 6.1 is about, using substitution to solve one-step equations. Have a great day, everyone.